Hey friends, and welcome to the House of Jen. I love to do all things creative, flower arranging, painting pumpkins like we're doing today, and more. So if that sounds fun to you, please like and subscribe. Okay, so today I had the idea that I wanted to paint my real pumpkins. Okay, now let me tell you, I do love the look of these cute little pumpkins in my gold patina bowl, and I am not going to disturb these pumpkins, but we are going to paint these other pumpkins. I picked up this little snowball pumpkin. Isn't it a bit like that's the cutest name? And I hate to even paint it because it's so perfect. But it does still have some discoloration, and I think we can make it a little cuter. So we are going to try to make it chinoiserie, which is that blue and white, beautiful kind of China look pattern. Anyway, you'll see. Stay tuned. So that is going to be our inspo, like maybe some like blue and white floral designs. I have 3 little pumpkins here, and I got this ginormous one as well. So let's do it. Okay, so I have my little snowball pumpkin, and I got out all of my blue paints that I could find from my blue paint stash. And I actually I really like this light kind of almost, I don't know, it's almost like a fairy tale princess, light blue. And this one is the one that I went for. So grab you a paintbrush and just, it's not hard. This is just a base coat. And if you don't love it, if you are not crazy about the color, then you know what? You can always just paint right over it, right? That's the glory of paint. If you're not happy with it, then just choose another color. Okay, so these little acrylic paints you can pick up for like really, really cheap. I think sometimes you can find them on sale for even less than $1. And you will find them in craft stores. You can find them at I guess like a Walmart or something like that, or your Michaels, or online. I did do a fun little fall haul recently at Michael's, which I will show you later, perhaps actually in another video, because we have a lot going on right here. But this is just this light blue. And if you've ever seen your grandmother's dishes, they are such a pretty pattern. It's almost very kind of regal, kind of royal, kind of timeless. And then after, you really could just leave it all this pretty light blue. Make sure you get a cup of water too, because you may want to thin it out. The paint that I'm working with is a little thicker. And so just to have a smooth top coat, or shall I say base coat, it will go on much smoother. So we don't have a turntable, but I can just use this little stem here to turn my pumpkin around. I probably should have used my turntable, but I did not trust myself not to get paint on I love my little white kind of marble turntable, and I was just a little too protective of it, even if I put paper on it. I tell you what, I am one messy person, and I just wanted the liberty to paint without worrying about that. So yeah, this one looks like it has a little bit of dirt in the corner. I tried to wipe it off with a paper towel as best as I could, but you know what? It's gonna get covered up anyway, right? So anyway, I think fall time brings out the craftiness in people. And so it's really fun to do crafts this time of year. And there's just something more satisfying when you put your hands to something than just picking it up in the store. Now, believe me, I like to go retail shopping. So I'm always looking at stores for things that fit, just my decor in my home, in my style, but I also love crafting and just doing fun little projects like this, because you don't have to be a famous artist, you don't have to be a Monet or a Picasso to just really have fun with some paints. So, you know, I actually really do like this light blue color. I may do some other darker blues and lighter blues with some other pumpkins, but this one is just kind of looking like that Cinderella kind of, you know, I almost feel like it's that Cinderella pumpkin, right? It just has that kind of fanciful look to it. I don't even know if I should paint all the bottom. Make sure you do have some kind of brown paper laid out, some craft paper. This one was actually recycled paper that would have gotten thrown away. So always check that too, whether you have newspapers or old magazines, so that you can be economical in that way. Okay, so if you don't get all the coverage that you want, you can always go back after it dries and, you know, make sure it dries, okay? And I think that I'm gonna let this one dry before I add a second coat. Okay, so I love, look how curly this little stem is. It's so cute. Make sure that it sits down at a good base, even if you want a quirky pumpkin. I have a paper bowl of white paint, and we are just going to go to town on this one. I think painting this one white is really fun. I've seen so many fun ideas for painted pumpkins. I have seen some people add hot glue to do kind of like pearls, like a knobby kind of pearl look to it, which I think is really smart. And then of course too, you can always go back and paint your stem like a gold or a silver. Like, how fun would that be? Okay, so I can already tell you that when you paint, you want to use a big brush, but then when you do the little crevices, you're going to want to go back in and do a smaller brush so that all that orange will be covered up. So yes, I am no expert painter, that is for sure, but I can tell you, coverage-wise, you definitely want to get a larger size bristle brush. I guess you call these chip brushes, but you just throw them away when you're done. I like to get paintbrushes. You could clean them up, but I don't know. I may clean it up, but if it's too messy and I'm hungry and I'm ready to eat dinner, then I may just throw this away, because you can get them in a very large amount. Okay, let's turn this guy around. Oh, part of the stem, watch out, got in the paint. That curly burly stem. Okay, so this one, we're making this orange pumpkin a pretty pumpkin. It is very pretty. But the white does give a good base. I could have totally just, you know, spent a little more money and gotten a white pumpkin, but I think these, you know, you can find them $4.99. I got mine, I think, like for around $5, but I have seen them for as cheap as $4 at some other stores. So, you know, I think you can find a really great deal on these pumpkins, and they would make adorable centerpieces, would they not? Oh my goodness, they would be so cute. So I can't wait to see what you do with your pumpkins. Again, if you're messy like me, you may want to put down a piece of paper. I would even recommend maybe an apron, a painter's apron, if you think you're gonna splatter on you. But yeah, so of course, if you wanted to use a fake pumpkin, you could certainly do that. because this is a real pumpkin. It will eventually rot. But for me, when I really am trying to get rid of some clutter here. And so I'm almost kind of prefer getting the larger pumpkin as a real pumpkin, because I can just enjoy it honestly for the season. And then, later I can just, next year, I'm sure I'm going to want to do something else entirely. And maybe I don't want this just sitting around taking up space. So yeah, decluttering, oh my goodness, it's such a journey. It's something that I will declutter and I'll think, I am never going to get cluttery again. Oh yeah, we get cluttery again. We are a consumer generation, aren't we? And so we have so much stuff because we just love all the things, don't we? We love all the things. And I think it's so important to declutter regularly. That's hard to say, regularly. How about schedule your declutter? Put it on your calendar. Give yourself a reminder at least once a week, right? But it's really a mindset. I don't know how we got on this declutter tangent, but we are almost done with the base coat of this pumpkin. Oh, and this guy is looking lovely, lovely pumpkin. We are almost there. Yay! Okay, so I think this little pumpkin is a perfect candidate. As you can see, we have some bruise over here, and it's just kind of sad. Seen better days. So I have different shades of blue. You can always kind of put some dollops out, see which one inspires you. But I got this kind of purpley dark blue that I was drawn towards. So we are just going to cover this up with this shade. Oh my goodness, I can tell now that this is going to take several coats, and I'm almost like, oh my goodness, I guess you live and you learn, right? This one for sure is not going on heavy. So I guess keep in mind that if you want to get a lighter shade pumpkin like this, you may want to go the small little button size pumpkin, because this one looks like it's going to take at least 2, if not 3 coats. And I actually did go for a really dark color. I really do love this shade. And really, I mean, if you like the look where some things kind of show through, which I guess that would be nice too. But I kind of like, if I'm going to add some extra detailing, you could do stripes, you could do little kind of buffalo check. Really, the sky is the limit. I've seen a lot of people do kind of Mackenzie Child's dupes for pumpkins, that beautiful designer that does the little kind of buffalo look of a check. But this doesn't take very, very long. So at least I picked a small pumpkin, because this one definitely looks like it's going to be in need of a few more coats. For whatever reason too, this type of paint that I grabbed does not seem to be going on the best. So kind of be mindful of your paint choice when you are painting. But it is glossy and it is pretty. And I'm almost kind of liking this. It's kind of pretty. So we'll see how it dries. Okay, so for this last little pumpkin, lost a paintbrush there. I just mixed up kind of my leftover paint, so I would not have to dispose of it or waste it to come up with a pretty little blue that kind of went in between the other shades of color. So this is our last pumpkin. I think this is like a tiger pumpkin. I am really drawn to the pumpkins with the longer stems. I think they are so pretty. Oh, wow. Sometimes the best shades are when you actually combine several colors, because this one I think is my favorite. So I just took a darker shade of blue, more of a medium shade blue, And that lighter kind of, I guess I call it Cinderella blue, but it's kind of that really kind of frosty, icy, snowy, kind of appealing, calming, serene blue. So maybe I came up with a paint color, serene blue. I like that. Okay. So this one is going on quite nicely. The coverage is fantastic. And I feel like this one will be really, really nice for when we go, and add the details. So always first, before, if you, are going to do a project like this, get your inspo, go on YouTube channels like House of Jen, or of course, you can scroll on Pinterest to get a lot of fun images for your vision board. Don't forget to paint the bottom, because some people may pick up your pumpkin and they'll go, oh my, this one was not painted completely. No, but really, just for a spirit of excellence, you just want to go ahead and paint the whole thing, right? If you're going to do something, you might as well do it right. Although sometimes I do shortcuts and don't always take my own advice. Okay, so we are almost done with this. A little bit more. And all right, y'all, I'm starving. We're going to let these guys dry and we'll come back for the detailing. For this simple little blue pumpkin, I just grabbed a fine, but not the finest tipped bristle bristle brush, and I made a vine type of a pattern. And it's, you don't have to be an artist to do these little pumpkins, really. I mean, if you can pick up a pen, if you can doodle, if you can make a heart, and you can just kind of continuously go along. And you could put the little line, first. I opted to continue and to just keep going. But you could just put the line first and then kind of use that as a framework. I just love this little cobalt blue pumpkin. Isn't it adorable? There's something about the mini pumpkins that are just special. So I thought about doing something different. I've seen where you can go horizontal with the pattern, but as you can see, I'm playing it safe. Instead, I did more kind of like more angular on the leaves. So the leaves, you can do more of a sharper kind of leaf vine pattern. And that is what I opted to do. So the lines on the first one were a little bit more rounded. And so I'm just spacing it out. I did not use a ruler, measuring tape, although you could if you're that precise type of a person, but I just eyeballing it and creating my little happy pattern. And I tell you what, it's pretty relaxing. I think you'll find it that way as well. And now for our big pumpkin. It, of course, was orange before. We painted it white. And I am going in with kind of a wider flat brush with this very, very vivid kind of almost bright cobalt blue. And I am simply making lines and spacing the lines all around the perimeter of the pumpkin. But you could totally make yourself a striped pumpkin or a pinstripe pumpkin. And I have seen where it's really, really pretty. Instead of the ridges, like on the curved part that's not like sunken in, on the ridges, it's probably easier to make the lines going vertically all the way across. You can make them fatter, you can make them thinner, you can make them, of course, are we having body positivity for our pumpkin? But you know what I mean. I am just going across this pumpkin and I am making the lines. And then I decided to actually turn this into more of a plaid pumpkin, but my plaid actually turned out to more of like a gingham, almost like a gingham ribbon. And I am so excited to show you what this one looks like. So I am just adding these last little horizontal lines. I found this was very, very easy, and it is a look that anyone could do. It would be beautiful to do black and white plaid, or orange and white, or even orange and green and white. And you can make your look to customize your decorations. Remember our little snowball pumpkin that we painted, kind of that reminiscent of that fairy tale, almost Cinderella-like powder blue? I opted on this one to make it a little more fanciful, almost like a doily lace, or when I was actually sketching this on the pumpkin, I was thinking like bows or ribbons, because I am just obsessed with bows and ribbons. I decorate my Christmas trees with lots of bows, and I like bows and ribbons. But this one was very easy. I really, really like this pattern because it does give kind of like that doily, lace, chinoiserie sort of a fun, effortless look to it. So I hope these give you some fun ideas. I want to show you what they all look like together. So hold on for that. Okay, so the very last thing I did was just paint the little stems here, and I painted them gold. But before I did that, I put a layer of matte black. This stem, I just left the matte black, and this one, I left the matte black too. I love all the fun detail. It's whimsical. We have the blue and white gingham and the chinoiserie inspired pumpkins, and I had so much fun doing this, and I hope you do too.